Moving on, we have a very informative keynote presentation by Dr. Sana Farid, Pioneer XR and AI strategist. She is also the founder of Munfarid. The title of Sana's keynote speech is The Key to Unlocking Industry 4.0. The stage is all yours, Sana, for your keynote presentation.
Yes, thank you once again, Bridget. I will try for my presentation to be actually a continuation of the panel discussion that we have had, because you know, we can have all day, but we cannot finish talking about XR or immersive tech. So please confirm me when you are able to see my screen.
Sure. As of now, no, I can't see your screen. Yeah, now I can see your screen, Sana.
Okay. According to many experts, extended reality is the key to unlocking Industry 4.0. Now, what does that mean? Now, I know that we don't have much of a time. So Bridget, also just please remind me when we are like 5 minutes or lesser to close. In essence, for me, Industry 4.0 is all about capitalizing on the previous technologies that humanity has been developing and inventing in the recent years, whether it's robotics, blockchain, artificial intelligence, intelligent connectivity, virtual and augmented reality. It's just time for us to make them into use. As we have heard in the previous panels, we are all talking about, we have elevated from the level of discussing technology and how it's built to actually how it is going to be used, how it is going to impact the human, how it is going to shape up the community through smart cities, smart healthcare, smart industries, and so on. One question that was there in the last panel was, when is the metaverse or XR going to become normalized? And the answer to that is, it is already a norm. Today, through XR or through inside the metaverse, we are doing a tremendous number of activities, from entertainment, gaming, healthcare, rehabilitation programs, training, and pretty much everything. What is next? Next is improving the content, the quality of the visuals, the operability of the tasks that we are doing inside XR, as well as the we are working on how to make the hardware, the devices, to become more and more compact, more and more sleek. And lastly, how to actually converge XR with the rest of the technologies to actually fulfill the need or the purpose of what XR is, and that is accessibility, that is teleportation, that is reach beyond physical and time boundaries. Some of the active use cases, or according to multiple researchers, is that workers who have practiced a certain activity or a task in XR and were then moved to the real or the physical machinery or environment, their speed was increased by 35% compared to those who have never experienced in XR and were following the conventional method. Not only the speed or the cost effectiveness or the time efficiency, but also the skill itself is improved. Workers are becoming more and more efficient because they are able to practice inside XR multiple times until they perfect it. One thing that I do myself, or I used to do a lot, is that whenever I was training inside XR for surgical procedures or emergency trainings, I would intentionally make mistakes, because making mistakes, causing a bleeding, for example, or doing something which I'm not supposed to do, would show me the end result of this. How is it going to, end up? Because this is something I cannot do in real life. So it's allowing me to fail and to learn from my failures, and then be a better learner. Cost. There has been a number of discussions, but a very good study about PwC that was released in 2020, just last year, was that when we're discussing about up to 500 numbers of students, and this is in a conventional classroom environment. The cost parity was, the cost of implementing XR was higher than the conventional classroom. When we are reaching to 2,000, or I think it was 3,000 learners, then actually the cost of implementing XR was much lower than the conventional method. As I said, XR is all about improving behaviors, improving practices, doing things, and improving precision. Precision is extensively required when we're dealing with delicate procedures. For example, surgery, as in my case. Another examples can be working with fire and safety hazards, working in high-rise buildings, in construction areas, etc. And then when we talk about, again, efficiency, practicing in XR has helped the learner reduce the amount of errors to more than 6 times compared to those who are not practicing in XR. And that's a huge number if we're talking about really critical situations. All of the above numbers are helping the learners to become more and more confident and to be able to go back to the XR-based training if they doubt themselves. They're able to do or perform that training as many times as they like, in many different scenarios that they like. Another very beautiful cases to explain here is that when we are training for ground handling or airport related or aviation industry related trainings, that is one industry that is operating across various scenarios and situations. There are weather constraints, there are day and night different situations. So all of these, imagine you are able to give your learner all of these different experiences while standing in the same place with the same the virtual setup, but you're able to give them unlimited number of experiences and also inflict emergency situation, like for example, fire, rain. How will the learner respond to an emergency situation when that is happening? With all of these practices, definitely learners' confidence is boosted significantly. Now, it is very, very clear, and there are thousands of use cases from around the world on the success of XR across various industries. For organizations who are looking into considering implementing XR, from my experience, I have shortlisted a number of questions on what are the things that you should be looking into. Just because the environment is all digital, is all virtual, why not involve a high risk and sophisticated training scenario? One that you can, it's either very costly or very resourceful or very dangerous to be doing in the real life. The simplest example for this can be fire and safety training. You are able to train your workers and not only train them, but also measure their response and their outcome and collect the data on their actual performances inside XR in a completely safe environment. What is this environment? It could be literally anything that you like. It could be a studio apartment to a huge compound to a wide area of space, for example, Expo 2020 area or the World Cup Stadium. All of these are scenarios that we must be training our workforce to be ready for. Again, when we talk about critical decision making, and when in certain training scenarios, when we require collaborative working from groups who could be from different parts of the world, all of these are some examples where XR is playing a major role. These are very basic use cases. I've tried to assemble different logos from multiple organizations. So BMW is extensively using it for design purposes. Also, we have the freedom to engage designers from different parts of the world in different time zones to be able to visualize how is our design looking. And if we need to modify that, if we need to change colors, change any particular design, we can do that in XR with absolute ease, efficiency, and real-time visualization. Dubai Customs is another very successful case that has been using XR since a number of years now to train its employees. IKEA, for its furniture, it has used it extensively for marketing purposes. Apart from IKEA, many other, retail are using it for training purposes. So the use cases can be many. It is again going back to the individual organization or the industry or the institute to understand what is their end objective, what are they trying to achieve, is their target related to training or related to marketing or related to increasing production, and then understand how they can use the XR best. NBA was one of the first examples in sports industry, and I think we should be hopefully, benefiting from that in the GCC as well. Is that allowing the viewer to be able to select the desired seat that they want, or even probably be in the middle of the game field and look at the experience in real time. So the opportunities and many. And this is a sort of the market segmentation that I usually try to follow whenever I am approaching, a new prospective client. How does it work? First of all, we are going to, identify the sector: oil and gas, healthcare, industrial, events and conferences, telecom, healthcare, military, etc., whatever it is. For me, in short, any or every sector can benefit from XR, and we already have a lot of use cases across various sectors. Once this sector is identified, I'm going to take one example. For example, if we talk about aviation, for example. So if we have shortlisted the aviation sector from the top row, we move on to the setting. What is this particular aviation company or airport trying to achieve? Are they trying to focus on the development, improving their operations or their field operation? Are they targeting marketing? Do they want to attract more and more customers? Then are they trying to train their staff, or they're simply doing it for the research purposes? Two examples I'm going to give you here. Training is pretty much straightforward to improve the efficiency of your workers. Other aviation companies are using this to improve their customers' experience while booking a flight, while booking a destination, by giving them an immersive, interactive environment and helping them to decide or make a decision inside XR. So that's again coming under the area, the vertical of marketing. Then we are going to decide about the scenario. Again, this is a very basic way forward for any organization who's looking into investing in VR. The scenario means that, again, it can be a field service operation, engineering review, interactive user manual, manufacturing assembly, inspection, or occupational health and safety. And pretty much all of these can be filling in any of the above sectors. Use cases is the last one. Is that what are we trying to achieve eventually? Is it remote assistance? And then we are going to go back to the map, understanding how is it that going to be achieved? What is the ideal hardware that we are needing? Not necessarily every time we're focusing on a specific virtual reality or augmented reality or mixed reality based device. Sometimes we can also use a simple mobile phone or a smart tablet to be achieving our goals. The procedural training, visual inspection is our objective, multi-user collaboration, and so on. So all of these, if we follow the top two bottom rows pattern in this particular graph, it is going to help us to actually identify what can be our pilot project for XR. And as experts have discussed, is that since it's an emerging technology, since we are witnessing a new hardware every few months, since there is ever increasing talk about the privacy and other related issues, it is good to start with one project as a pilot initially, gain the research and the use case and the feedback of this one project that we are starting on, and then move on to the next use case, for example. Examples can be many. I'm going to stick on this slide, or I can move on to the next one. So,
sorry to interrupt there, Sana. Yes, we've just got maybe a minute or two left. So, yeah, okay. Maybe a quick.
Okay, great. So we are ending here, and basically, what XR is doing is that it is literally giving us the power to implement or to experience everything and anything that we want, but with minimum resources, with maximum efficiency, with maximum safety, with zero risk. And it is the right time to be investing in XR. For me, particularly, XR is all about the reach and the potential that it is going to help us achieve for those things that we were not able to do in the past. For example, in healthcare, we can talk about reaching to masses who are still suffering from shortage of healthcare providers. When we talk about special needs or disabled community, XR is another hope for them to be experiencing everything with complete safety. And this is coming to the end. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'm open to if there are any questions. And lastly, thank you to the entire team of this summit, and it was a pleasure. And I'm open if there are any questions.
No, Sana, as of now, I don't see any questions coming your way. If at all there are any questions, we will email you those questions. And thank you very much for your time. And what a wonderful keynote presentation filled with insight. No wonder you are one of the pioneers of XR in all across EMEA and GCC. Thank you very much for your support, Sana.
Thank you.